you would go to her sister captain and ask about her, and the sister captain would go to your captain and ask about you. Main thing at the time, as I understand it, was that you had to be a brother who was active in the mosque.
Right.
You had to be a brother who was willing to work and had a job and knew how to take care of, have to, like Sister said, you have to know how to take care of a home and family. And so those kinds of things were to eliminate these early divorces or separations. You couldn't say, I didn't know who you were, I didn't know it was like that.
Right. Right.
Really a true FYI.
You know, that's a good point, because one thing I did do, I asked a brother, an older brother, yeah, I guess you said get in the FOI class, but I just say, does he sell newspapers? And he let me, yes, he sold a bundle of newspapers every week. And the way he take care of his papers, that's the way he gonna take care of you. Oh, okay. And he sold his newspapers, and you know that was what a qualification was. The way he takes care of his papers is the way he's gonna take care of you. So you know, those
real.
different things. You know, older men knew that, and they could tell you what kind of salesman that he was.
Well, there was a brother from Philadelphia. Name was, I ain't gonna mention his name. I can mention his name, but his brother, I will mention his first name. His first name was John. I ain't gonna mention nothing else, because the last name, you know. And John talked about Islam, but he talked about shooting up. I get high, brother. We talk Islam. I didn't know nothing about no Islam. I didn't know a thing about no Islam. I come out of the service, and when I made my way back home, there was a brother from Detroit who said he used to be in the military order of the Nation of Islam, as lieutenant. And he was teaching me about the wicked seed, Islam, God, the devil and things. He was teaching me all that stuff. But I'm going to tell you something. I was very well studied in the Bible. My mother made me that. But he wasn't as studied in his teaching as he should have been, because I ate him up. Today I know that a well-studied Muslim in the Nation of Islam, you can't handle him. But I handled him. And he took it. And I went away. And I came back from North, because I left. I went to North looking for a better way to feed my family. I had a dead-end job, you know. Couldn't have paid the rent. Food run out Wednesday night. And I had 2 days for a check to come. That kind of thing. I'm going there looking for a job, I thought. But Allah was moving me. For a few months, I didn't find no job. I was hungry. But then I rather got a job. And a bald-headed brother took me to the mosque. I ducked him for a while. Lied to him, hid from him. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You don't see it. Finally, he got me there. Me and my wife. She came to see me up in North, because I left her down here with 2 babies. Whatever money we had was almost nothing. And she would come to see me sometimes. She had enough to get on the bus. You know what I mean? And she would come to see me. Things. And one day she came and he rounded us up. We got in the car, and me and her went to the mosque together. We heard it the same time, the same day, in the same house. When she was going, she said, Jimmy, these people are crazy. Because they were loud. Sell that paper, brother. That's it, brother. I'm a Lego. That's what we heard all up down the streets. And that's strange to us. We don't know nothing about that. But we got inside. And then I ain't really searching, man. So I went through the search. And when I come out, I looked for my wife. I didn't know where she was at, because you know they took her another way. She's all right, don't worry about sister. I said, no, where's my wife? Brother, she's okay, believe me. They kept hustling me down front. And I'm still looking for her for a while. But 10, 15 minutes into that teaching, I didn't look for her no more. I just wanted to know how I could be one of them believers. I was hooked 10, 15 minutes into that teaching. It had quenched my thirst. It was in number 25, but James, the son of thunder, was somewhere else teaching, and the man that was teaching was Thomas J.X. His name was Brother Thomas J.X. from Hartford, Connecticut. His name is Thomas Jihad now. Minister Thomas Jihad, you heard of him. It's 1963. He was teaching. I called Thomas Jihad my father. Then I find out that the same Thomas Jihad, when the minister came in the Nation of Islam, he was in New York and he orientated the minister. You know how you go to orientation class? Thomas Jihad. I said, well, what a coincidence that is. And he's the first voice that I heard in the nation. Thomas Jihad. Things kind of fit. Kind of fit, really. I didn't discuss it with her because she's getting on the bus to come back to South Jersey. But I remember writing her a letter. And I remember some things that were in the letter. I might not have it all correct. But I put in the letter that I had accepted this, and this is what I want, you see. And I put in there, I said, and I love you, so I hope you have accepted it too. What did that mean? That meant that I was on it. This is the way I was going. I was really saying, come with me. And I wasn't changing, but she didn't really answer the letter, but she came right on in with me. I didn't come just because I was hungry. No, I came with spiritual pain because of the way I was treated as a boy. It had to do with my wetting the bed and going to God and getting cleaned up of that. It had to do with the biasness that was in my family with my mother and my brother and things. It had to do with that. It had to do with all of those things, man. And the racism that was in my neighborhood had something to do with it, yes. But the basic thing that brought me into the Nation of Islam was its rightness and its ability to ease the pain that I felt coming up through my childhood. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we hear the teaching that God is a man who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and we added on to that, to whom praise is forever due. We were absolutely, and then and now, convinced that the only way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad could have known all that he'd known, that he had to talk to God himself. Because he was a man that only had a 3rd grade education. He went to 4th grade, but he only completed 3 years of education. How could a man with a 3rd grade education know all of these facts and figures that he knew and all this history that he knew? I mean, this man could talk about the universe. You know, how would the man know this? He said there's not 24 hours in a day, it's 23 hours, 56 seconds, and 56 minutes and 46 seconds in a day. How would a man know that? He said that the earth separated from the moon 66 trillion years ago. And he said that it was caused by high explosions. Then when they went to the moon and took samples from the moon, they said that the moon was made of the same thing that the earth was made of. The only difference is they seen a soot on the moon that showed that there was a burn as if there was an explosion. This was found out even later. So how would a man have known all that if God himself had not taught him? And a man that could stand in the face of the white man and call the white man the devil, and the devil not kill him, God had to be with him. We believe that, there's no way that he could have survived that if God hadn't have been his teacher. And the scripture has said that God would raise up a man like unto Moses. And Moses was taught by God face to face. The scripture says as a man talks to his friend. So if there was a man going to be raised up like unto Moses, Elijah Muhammad was that man. So we were convinced that God had raised this man up. So when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about the grafting of the white man and that it was 6,000 years ago and the process was 600 years process of grafting him from black to yellow to red to brown and to white, in the whole process, and it was started in the Aegean Sea. Well, when I went back and started studying the white man's history in the Aegean Sea, this is where the Greek city-states all began. They began in the Aegean Sea, and they began 4,000 years ago, because for 2,000 years they were bottled up in the hills and cave sides of Europe. Their civilizations began with the Greek city-states 4,000 years ago, which was consistent with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it says that Musa came and taught them the forgotten technology. So then with the forgotten technology, they began to come out of the hills and cave sides of Europe and begin to sally forth into the land. So what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught was consistent with history. And you can't find the history of white people beyond 6,000 years. So we were convinced that God, there's no way this man could have known all of that without God himself. Okay. And then he gave us a diet, 1 meal a day. And man, our faces began to shine. Our thinking began to become sharp. Everything became first class about our personality. So it was exceptional. I mean, you say, well, how could the man, if God didn't teach him, how could a man give you a diet and all of us change, not just some of us, but all of us get shines on our faces. All of us became starch. All of us became sharper thinkers. All of us, these were brothers from the street, many of them school dropouts. Now they're debating intellectuals.
Soldier. His thing was to let the people know that we love them. And that's frightening, not only for white man, but it's also frightening for us. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, but the outcome is going to be what it's going to be. We're the men of God. So who is the enemy of God? And he will not be. So where is the Nation of Islam at today? It appeared to me to be somewhat off the path of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's not a dead teaching, it's a live teaching. Because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was given life to the black man and woman in America. There were certain things that were said, and of course everything has its reason. Don't make the believers cry. Don't play with the believers. You want for your brother what you want for yourself. What happened to the bean soup? It wasn't no question. If I got a bowl of bean soup, you got half. 75 or 74. More like 75. I didn't want to believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left us. I didn't want to believe it. Hindsight being 20/20, a lot of people left us. We didn't believe that Muslims died. You never would bury the uniform of the FOI. But we're still pseudo-Christians. we still got a Christianic type of idea of what Islam is. I like what he was about because what he was about was relevant to us as a people. I could identify.
Yes, that's another thing, you know, on the tape. Yeah, the food. How we prepare
but
food.
you know what? Yeah, but one of the things when I came in, the Muslims had businesses everywhere. And when we had Sunday meeting, we ate after the meeting, but we shopped in the mosque. I rarely went to the grocery store because all the Muslims had their
Everything
things.
that you needed.
Everything. Today is very difficult.
And
to
we
get.
had bazaars.
Mhm.
And at the bazaar, you had your entertainment. We had the Minister Farrakhan speaking. Well, we had bazaars here, in Philadelphia area too, where Minister Jeremiah was speaking. But shopping, everything that you wanted was right there.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. Even if you was looking for a husband or a wife, everybody was there, you know, dressed up and everything. They got their Sunday best on. You know, we're here. Our community is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you young people, you heard it. You gotta, don't feel, oh man, no. You gotta make it better. You gotta make it better. You gotta improve. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask the brother, did he want anything to drink?
We've been there. But we want to see you in the mosque. Well, we gotta survive.
That's right.
We gotta survive.
And I would say this, that if you can keep this in your mind, Master Prophet Muhammad came 9,000 miles. Not a cliche. He came 9,000 miles, but he chose every last one of us who's in the nation. Now that says something about us, about our character, about who he thinks we are, and who we will be. And so he hand chose us and picked us to come into the nation. And as I tell the sisters, you're the answer to the problem that we have here. The growing pain, because we've all been there, young, elderly, been through that growing pain. But as my husband says to anyone that comes in, he says, Islam is a handle that will not let you go. You will let it go before it lets you go. And so I started internalizing that. So in this review, that those are people you cannot control. They may be offensive or whatever, and I totally understand. Believe me, we get the calls. I understand. But don't allow others to stomp your development, because God has something great for you.
And you know where your safety zone is at? Right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right here.
We got you. Give me a hug,
I don't
girl.
know that-
I deal with this all the time. I deal with this all the time. Yes. Oh my God. You got such a beautiful spirit.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Your spirit
But
is.
it's him.
I was telling Sister
He's the
Miriam
one.
and Sister Cornelia. I was like, Sister Brooke is so happy. She's like texting me big words for the worst. I said she's excited.
She gave me a question and said, "Oh, she must be a new sister." That's how we are. We women, we be ready. Right. And then you got it. Y'all just gotta finish up the little finishing touches. That's all. Like Sister Cornelia said, when she came over my house, she always used to see me and my husband like we knew something that she didn't know.
Everybody else didn't.
Yeah.
I just want to be me and support, do whatever I got to do to help the nation. But upon that came a lot of ridicule. And I could have been going a long time ago. But I'm like, you know what? Ain't nobody taking me off this square. I traveled all the way from Bermuda
To become a Muslim.
to become a Muslim, and I could have did it in my own country. So God saw fit that I need to be out here to do something, and He's still working out some things. And so we were just talking about this earlier, that you're gonna get some people that's not on the same page as you.
Yeah.
But you gravitate to those that's on the same page. I teach the orientation, and I watch. I am a hawk over them. I don't care who likes me or not, because I have a mission and I've been given an instruction to protect. And so if you find someone who has the same spirit as you, you be with that person.
Right.